Hey, Christy here with Go See Christy Beauty Boutique. Thanks for joining us. Today we're talking about how to get rid of blackheads and whiteheads, those pesky little things that are on your face. So the difference between the two is they are not the same. Blackheads, people think that the black material inside the blackhead is dirt. It is not dirt. It is actually oxidized oil. So the comedone is actually open. So typically what happens is if you are not exfoliating, then what happens is the oil inside the pores, they can't come up onto your skin. So it gets trapped inside the pore, but the pore is open. And so the oil is oxidized, and that's why it turns black. Whiteheads are basically the oil gets trapped inside the pore and the dead skin cells cover it on the top of the skin so the oil can't get up. So it's not oxidized, it is not exposed to oxygen. So therefore it is a whitehead. Sometimes when people extract a whitehead, it's clear fluid, which is the oil. Other times it's fluid. It's fluid as well as dead white blood cells and bacteria. So the way that you treat the blackhead and the whitehead is through exfoliation. And the reason why is because both blackheads and whiteheads are typically not primarily caused by the acne-causing bacteria. It is a desquamation issue, and desquamation means skin cell turnover rate. So if you are breakout prone and you're not exfoliating, that means your desquamation rate is too slow. So you need exfoliation, which is a little bit of help to get rid of the dead skin cells. So once you get that off the top layer of your skin, the oil that's in your pore can freely go on top of the skin. Now, here are some tips to get rid of blackheads and whiteheads. So the first one is if you have a lot of blackheads and whiteheads and you want to address them quickly, I recommend personally that you go see a professional esthetician and get an exfoliating facial. That way, one, you get extra time for extractions. And when they do a professional extractions, here are some things that they do that you can't do at home. What they do is they can put on a scaling fluid. What that does is it starts to break down the hardened sebum, and they put your face under the steam. And if they have a machine, it's called the BT Micro, and they put it on negative ion. Negative ion, it's a process called desincrustation. So basically when they do that, negative ion in chemistry pulls up. So it acts like a magnet. So what it's basically doing is it's prepping the skin, it's softening the hardened sebum that's caught in your pores. That way extractions are, one, not as painful and more effective in getting a lot of the material outside of your pores. So if you do an exfoliating facial and you do extractions. The other one is the licensed skincare professional, based on what you put on the clientation form, and if they have a dermoscope and they can put your skin underneath that special light, they can actually see how much hardened sebum that you have because it's looking at underneath of what is going on. That way, based on what the information that you give to your esthetician can tell you the best protocol to follow and give home care and give recommendations on products. Now, these products are typically stronger than over the counter. That's why you need a license to be able to dispense them. So it's the same way that if you go to a pharmacy, you can get aspirin at the regular drugstore. But if you want a stronger painkiller like Vicodin, you actually have to get a licensed professional such as a pharmacist to dispense that to you. So it's the same thing. So that's one of the ways that you can address blackheads and whiteheads. If you have more severe bumps on your face, which is called congestion, then the esthetician may recommend an acid peel on your face. Now, here are some tips about that. This is a great time to do it. So if you're watching this and it's winter time, that is the best time to do it. I would try to schedule it in the evening so that when you go home, you are not exposed to any type of sun. And that they would recommend how you would do a acid peel. So the first thing is, If they are pretty experienced, they're going to recommend a pre-treatment protocol. This is going to prep your skin for the low pH that your skin is going to go into for the peel. So you would do this 7 to 10 days before your appointment. Then by the time you get to your appointment, your skin can tolerate a lower pH. Then they'll offer you a post-treatment, which helps recover the skin so that you don't, one, peel as much, and so therefore for some people will not scar. I'm not saying that everybody scars, but for some people they may have a little bit of superficial darkening or hyperpigmentation. So there are different types of peels. I do not recommend that you do them at home. Do not do them, because what can happen is now, because you're inexperienced, you will end up getting glycolic acid burns. And the most typical ones that I see when people do them is they get them in the crevices where their nasolabial fold is and in the creases of their neck. So make sure that you do this with an experienced esthetician. If you want to find out more about exfoliation, we do have a video that's called the 3 different types of exfoliation and the best way to exfoliate your skin. We do have that video. And if you want to find out more about acid peels before going to make an appointment with an esthetician, we have another video on find out the best type of acid peels and which ones are best for your skin right over here. Thanks for watching.